Hello everyone, this is LaCora Stevens
and Robert Mitchell
with the Yes Show, Young, Entertaining, and Saved. Now we are here to do a review for you of Preachers of LA Season 2, Episode 3. Now, the top points that we have to discuss. This show, it was mainly highlighting two big situations. Of course, the slain pastor in Louisiana. It was very sad. So there was like reconciliation that Noel Jones was trying to create. And then we had a peace pact between Dominique and Chrissy. Because you guys,
glad to see that.
Yeah, you guys recall the situation of Pastor Jay and Deitrick kind of getting into it. So they came together.
You're judging me.
You judging me, Jay? It don't even look good on you. It don't even look good on you, man. All right. And then we have Dominique and Deitrick. They go to the therapist. All right, and they discuss their roles in the marriage. And then last but not least, we see Noel Jones, Bishop Noel Jones, seeks counsel to find out what would be the overall solution for this church, which I thought to be interesting.
So great.
Yes, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Now, the peace pact between Dominique and Chrissy, I liked it. I liked it because Dominique said something prolific now.
What Dominique said?
Dominique said... Women come together to understand each other, where men get together to prove their point, so that their point could be, you know, get across. And I totally agree. Yeah, men to get their point across, and I totally agree with that. Being a woman, you know, you try to talk to people. Not all women are this way, and not all men are this way. Okay, but I've talked to some women. And it's just like with Robert. So with our friendship, Childish Joker be getting on my nerves. Because I'll be like, all right, Rob, let's try to talk about it. No, Cora, because you ain't hearing what I'm saying. You ain't hear. And then he try to get his point across. And it's like, well, I understand that's your point, sir. I'm just trying to understand
the point. Right.
But see, with women, it's just like, okay, so that's your point. This is my point. Can we come to an understanding? It's just not where you're so focused on, but it's my point, and you're going to listen to my point.
No. Because the way, I like the way she tried to ease that in there. Oh, with women, I get your point, and this is my point. With some women, they give their point, and your point is irrelevant. and, you know, I just don't stand for that. It's like, wait a minute, I heard your point, LaCora, and I get your point, but it's clear that you don't understand my point, nor is it important, because since yours has been put out, but this is not even about us, so we're not going to do this right now.
Thank you. See, because this brother will give a dissertation in a heartbeat. Okay.
It's needed.
No, it's not. Okay, so we're going to go on, because it was all peaches and cream with Dominique and Chrissy. I guess the point still stands as to, will Deitrick Hatton and Pastor Jay come to amends?
But we know that they will, because
we're sure.
that was the good thing about it. When you got your women coming together like that, it definitely... You got both teams fighting at home.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I love that, and that's what the ladies, they needed to do it, because it was trickling down in a relationship. Right. Because you remember Pastor Jay's wife, you know, she didn't come to an event because of what happened. Because she felt like, oh, it would be some issues with, you know, Dominique. And, absolutely. And I could understand that, because exactly, kind of like with Lavette and Loretta. Now, Lavette was cool, but I guess Loretta is one of those women to where it's like, you don't mess with, you know. So Chrissy didn't know what to expect. So at least they're on good terms, and that's that. Yes. All right. And remember, women, you have, you know, especially when you're married, you know, women, we have a voice of influence. Kind of like that Eve. She got in Adam's ear. She was like, listen. It's that voice of influence. We're very powerful. I ain't gonna eat it. Eat it, Adam. I ain't gonna eat it. Eat it for me, Adam. So, you know, and it's good that they're using their influence for good. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I appreciate that, Dominique and Chrissy. Reconciliation, we see Bishop Noel Jones. He goes down to Louisiana. In case you aren't aware of the story, there's a pastor. He's gunned down in the actual church. Yes. Not have a heart attack at the pulpit. Not. And I think he was actually up preaching. Yeah. And she said that the man came in with a gun, shot him.
from a distance, went close to him, point blank, shot him again.
And I think he was actually on top of her when he shot her again, because he was coming towards her. And I think he fell over on her, and he came, because she's seen everything.
Right.
Yeah, you know, just sad, you know.
It is sad.
It's sad. But, you know, also being that it's sad, there is other points that were being speculated, because it seems like there was some infidelity on the pastor's part.
Yes.
So I don't know if this was a husband that was upset about the pastor maybe messing with his wife. I don't want to put anything out there, but it was speculated that there was a little more to the story, that this pastor was not, you know, on the straight and narrow as he should have been. Well, we know as the Joker that shot him felt. So.
Right, exactly. Right. And so allegedly there was some infidelity, which provoked and initiated that vengeance that walked through that door and killed him dead. And it's so sad. And Bishop Noel Jones wasn't trying to make that the story, wasn't trying to make that the point. His point was rebuilding that church because people were leaving. My thing is, as a pastor, as anyone, if you think that you're going to sit down and do the dirt that you do without any repercussions, you are putting yourself at a high risk, because child, you just don't know what a person could do, what they're capable of doing. Child, even the Bible tells us that a woman scorned, you know, it has no fury, like, no, hell has no fury like a woman scorned, you know. So a man, if he's, you know, feeling betrayed, you just don't know. So we just have to be careful with what we do behind closed doors. Just try to please God.
Absolutely. And yeah, and you're right, LaCora. You can't hide behind the pulpit. Yeah. It will not always save you, because every man reaps what he sows. You know, and that's something that the Lord cannot go back on his word about. You know, but what I will say, I did love Bishop Noel for what he did, because me and LaCora was having a discussion earlier, and I was like, most people may say, well, he don't want to talk about that. You know, the pastor was messy and he was this and that. I mean, but it's not about that, guys. What Noel seen was the bigger picture, which is you having people that are turning away from God.
Yes.
And that's when it gets serious, because we all know, we don't know the story of that pastor there. However, we do know that God is still a healer. God is provider, and he's everything that we always know him to be. So he did not want people to get distracted and feel like the Lord has forsaken us in this moment only because the devil walked in.
And that's what the daughter said. She didn't even think that Bishop was going to come, because her father, the pastor who was killed, he admired Bishop Noel Jones. She didn't think much of it. She said she'd been let down and all this stuff, but he came. And that alone just did something for her. I felt really, really bad for her, because it just really hurt her heart. I felt bad for the wife, because she's sitting there trying to be strong, knowing what the truth is, or maybe what the truth probably is.
They say that they don't know if she's really
accepting it.
Right.
You know, because we will try to act like things are A-okay. I can't do them games no more.
But you know, but I do like what she is doing, and that's that family is still holding tight to God.
Right.
That is the important thing that we should take from this story. Is like, you know, she's seen her husband murdered in front of her, yet and still will she serve him. Now that'll preach. And, that's something that I love, and I think that's where Noel comes in. It's like, okay, as a community, we understand that there were some things that happened.
Right.
But don't be deceived by the enemy.
Right.
God did not let you down. He is still here.
And that's why he's what this man did ain't got nothing to do with God.
Right.
Ain't got nothing to do with God.
What he did in his flesh had nothing to do. But what he stood for in the word, yeah, they still want that to prevail. But in his flesh, absolutely.
See, that's the thing, Robert. People ain't going to sit here and say what you did in the word if your flesh is so busy taking all the glory. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
This is why people walk away from the church.
Well, but that's some people. Some people, I'm not saying that they have to stay.
A lot of people have been hurt by the church.
I want you to hear my point.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thank you. Because I do agree with you. A lot of people has been hurt by the church. But when you say the church, people do realize that, especially who's looking at it from a discerning spirit, they understand when it's not the spirit of God that's in LaCora that hurt me. It was LaCora. The Lord gives us free will, and sometimes LaCora can do exactly what LaCora wants to do.
But everyone doesn't see that.
They maybe don't.
All people see is this man of God just did what? This is exactly why I don't go to church. What just happened to me at the church?
But this is the whole premise of the show of Preachers of LA, to show people that their preachers are not perfect. Pastors are not perfect, guys. That's the point. We're not saying that you should settle for anything, and that if your leader is not leading in the way that he needs to, that you don't need to cut that cord between them. But I'm saying at the end of the day, you still need to realize that they are human, that they do make mistakes. They're not in some holy veil, and the Lord only
so much at them and look at God. End of story. Okay.
With a humble spirit.
What do you mean with a humble spirit?
I just didn't like the way you cut that off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to cut. It's just that so much of us, like Noel Jones says, we give this iconoclastic view of these men of God. When your eyes shouldn't be so stretched on them anyway, it should stretch beyond them to God. And this is why we get hurt, because you're so into Noel Jones. But what? Noel Jones got somebody else pregnant? What? Noel Jones was messing with that? Who? What? And now he in a 16-year relationship? What? It ain't about Noel Jones.
And I'm glad you said that, because when you cut it off, I didn't think that you was cutting it off because of that point.
You always do that. That's the thing.
See, when I try to give you a little, you
won't get no more. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, so we're going to move on to Dominique and Deitrick at the therapist station, office. And he wants her to get a nanny. She refuses to. She does not want it.
You gonna clean up this boo-boo.
Right, they tried to this, and she was like, well, no, if you just help a little more, we won't need a nanny. He was like, but that's not my role. That's your role. That's mommy duty. And she was kind of offended by that, but the therapist, I really liked her, because she was like, well, maybe we need to come to a middle ground here.
As always.
You know, and Deitrick, and so she was like, well, I could think about a nanny being part-time, and Deitrick is like, well, I could think about doing a little more. That's no worries, you know, so I really like that. They were open and honest. Chad, I think a little too honest, talking about they watched the Kardashians and the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I just didn't like it.
Why?
Number one, even though he's not a pastor anymore, I just think that how we pass our time is important of how we view things and how we decide to do things in our life. It's true.
He didn't say that's the only thing he's watching. Or that's the only thing he's doing with his time.
You asked me to justify.
I did, but that was enough.
I just think that we need to be very careful of our eye gate and our ear gate. It's kind of like listening to music sometimes. You tell your kids, don't listen to that stuff. I mean, I remember watching the Basketball Wives of LA. When I tell you, I just had an attitude and I was just waiting for somebody to say something to me. Like, I'm so serious.
Girl, you was like that way before the Basketball Wives ever came. Are you serious? Guys,
so I'm saying
I went to college with Miss Stevens. Let's call up any of our friends, LaCora, and ask them, did you get that trait from the Basketball Wives?
Listen, I was never trying to fight anybody, because Robert would always say that I would be like, yeah, and so and so and so and so. I'm leaving.
She'll get it good and going.
So listen, all I'm saying is that you have to be very careful about what you put in your ear gate and your eye gate. It's just like music. When you watch trash like that on TV, it does something to you. And this is why we get so amped up and they always saying, you shouldn't be in my business, you shouldn't be in my business. Listen, stop watching it, and then it may change your frame of mind. It may just change your frame of mind.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, LaCora. You got it out. You feel good. I'm not disagreeing in a whole sense, but I do know that a lot of times people don't take out the time to know why people are watching. A lot of times people watch for different reasons. Sometimes they are seeing, you know, how some people mindsets are thinking now, especially as a pastor that know how to deal with some certain things that you wouldn't see, you know, in your regular.
No, because if that was the case,
but you can't know my. You cannot know my opinion. When he said he was embarrassed to watch the show, it could have been as a man watching. Like,
but he should have been. I'm embarrassed as a man of God watching that show.
That's what you think, LaCora. That's what you think.
Go ahead, Ross. I just can't.
Listen, judge on, LaCora. Judge on.
Oh, here we go.
What I will say.
That's right. I'm supposed to mind my business.
Y'all, listen, y'all feel me over here, because listen,
get in my business.
Just like when I watch, a lot of times when scary movies come out, especially the ones that are kind of dealing more with kind of demonic presence, a lot of times the LaCora is like, oh no, I don't want that stuff jumping out on me and getting in my spirit and this and that, and I can respect that. I can respect that. However, me as a Christian, a lot of times, because I do know that these things are real, a lot of times they have little things in them that you can actually learn from. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the devil reveals himself. Sometimes he reveals his weakness. Sometimes he just sometimes there's something that the Lord could have for you to see. And I know y'all like really rob in a scary movie, but a lot of times as a Christian, that's what I'm really looking at. A lot of times I'm in there rebuking the screen.
So you're getting your training from a movie and not from the Bible.
Excuse me.
Child, we got to move on because this is really, Robert, we are digressing, and it's about Preachers of LA. I just can't believe you told these people.
Oh, so you're going to keep going on?
Go ahead, finish.
No. I'm saying go on to the next point.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to talk about that point again if you told me to stop.
No, I won't.
I'm telling these people that I'm getting my training from.
The exorcism of Emily Rose and Purge.
Yeah, don't disregard that exorcism. It was pretty
okay. Listen. All right. So then the last point was Noel seeks counsel about the ultimate decision of what to do with this church. I really like that because he did not take the time as one man to take this big situation with so many factors, you know, and say, I'm just going to go ahead and make a decision. But he sought counsel, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was like 5 or 6 other guys.
Because it's
there.
Bible.
Yeah.
It's Bible. You remember I sent a scripture to you like that, or you know, I always say that because LaCour didn't like that I seek counsel on a lot of things, you know, but it's because I don't want my opinion and what I think to be, you know.
Listen.
Is that not true?
And hear me well.
But I'm saying, is it not true? Because you said, listen.
It's partially. I never said that there was a problem with you seeking counsel, but sometimes we seek counsel from the wrong people. You can't seek counsel from somebody that's going to tell you, now what you need to do is boo, 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 boo.
I don't have people like that in my circle that moves like that.
He does.
Yeah, her.
He does.
You.
Okay, so listen, my thing is, yes, it's great for you to seek counsel, but sometimes we have to be very, very mindful about who we seek that counsel from. And I'm very discerning of
that. Y'all know me. They do. They know me.
Child, I just
listen, my viewers know me. Her viewers know her. Guys, listen, and it is in the Bible that a wise man will seek counsel, and that's what Noel did, and he was right to do that, and it did show a humbleness that a lot of people just don't have. They're so pride in thinking I'm doing it my way, or it's all about me and what I say that goes. I don't need the counsel of anybody.
Right.
But,
they won't defer to anyone with that has knowledge. They won't defer to someone that may have more wisdom, or not even more, just equal, or just some that you see as peers. It's just like, I could do this on myself. And I think that you should seek counsel from the right people. Okay. Right, Robert?
Absolutely, and if anybody does give you counsel, when you have that discerning spirit, you can filter what is good and what is not, So absolutely, LaCour.
Okay, so that was our review of Preachers of LA's, episode 3. It was very cut and dry. It was the main focus was Bishop Noel Jones and Dominique and Deitrick with their marriage. So anything you want to add?
No. Everything. It was a great show. I loved every point of it, and I did like, just real quick, I did like the point of them kind of putting the therapy out there now, or counseling for couples. Yeah. I think that's always a great thing, because you do get to see and kind of have a person that's unbiased. Because me and LaCour will sit here and go, we can't see ourselves sometimes. She thinks that she's perfect. I know that I'm not, but anyway, when we're going back and forth, sometimes it's good to have that person that has, like you said, a great perspective and actually just tell us what's right versus what I think and you think, and I think that's good for most couples. So I love that.
I like counseling.
Yes,
counseling is fun.
Why you never go?
Because I'm not married. So why would I go? I mean, well, So anyways, you guys, that was our season 2, episode 3 review of Preachers of LA.
Yes.
That's it. Make sure you guys visit our website, www.theyesshowtv.com, for more. All right?
Have a great day.
Bye.
Be blessed.